There's a dead crab, center screen. It's got some barnacles on it. There's another crab right there. Look at that. That must have came up in the storm. That's crazy. But somewhere on this beach is a sea turtle nest that got washed up from the storm. What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Right now we are out at Casperson Beach, just outside of Venice. We're gonna be looking for some meg teeth. Sorry, it's a little windy, so I know audio might be a little iffy. Some shark teeth, some meg teeth. They normally wash up right after a storm, and there was just a tropical storm that came through. We're the first ones out here from what it looks like, so let's see what we can find. My brother says there's a dead pufferfish. What? Look at that. That must have came up in the storm. That's crazy. All right, let's get down here. There's so much stuff on the shore already. This is insane. Fish, everything. Jeez.
Already.
Guys, this is gonna be awesome.
Look at this, Charlie. Look at that.
This is gonna be a good time out here. So right now I'm just looking on the surface, trying to see what all has been washed up in the storm before I start sifting. Want to cover all my bases, and the last thing I want to do is go over there and sift when there's a meg tooth sitting on the surface that I haven't seen yet. So anything?
What?
Anything yet?
I thought that was something, but it's not. I don't know what it is.
Kelp or something? Keep it still. Look at that.
Oh yeah, it's a good one.
It's a nice shell.
Yep.
Just found this nice looking conch shell right here in the sand. Put it back. Okay guys, so the storm has washed up a ton of stuff, but in this pile there's a dead crab, center screen. It's got some barnacles on it. There's another crab right there. It just washed up all this stuff, and there's actually all sorts of sea turtle eggs that are washed up. There's one here, there's one there. I saw another one, there's one here, and then over here there's another one. Where was it? Right here. They're all over the place right here. Sea turtle eggs. So I don't know where they got washed out of, but somewhere on this beach is a sea turtle nest that got washed up from the storm. That's sad. All right, guys, besides the fact that these crab are dead, which is sad, that is a really cool looking crab species. You guys got to let me know what species that is. I have never seen a purple spotted crab. That is really cool. Yeah, more turtle eggs all over. So literally a whole nest right here got washed up. My brother just found a stingray tooth. Let me show you that. Where's that tooth?
The bottom of the bowl.
It's that black plate right there. That is a stingray tooth. So first find of the day so far. Our Uncle Charlie's way back there, so he may have found something, but I'm like, why am I not recording? We just found this coconut, and I decided to start recording a little bit too late, but there's a coconut inside, so I just wanted to get it out of the husk. And no, I'm not this strong. It's wet from the ocean, so I was able to just peel it apart. Look at that. And it's full. I'm taking that. That's my souvenir. It's hard to breathe with the salt in the air.
Yeah.
Here he comes! Ah! Went right at my foot. He crawled on my toes. All right, guys, we're gonna call it good for tonight. It is high tide, so it's really hard to find anything right here. And on top of that, some people came down and said there's some sort of thing in the air right now, on top of it being high tide and terrible timing, that burns your eyes, burns your throat, makes it hard to breathe. And we've been experiencing these symptoms the whole time we were down here. We just thought it was the salt water. And right now, I can barely even hold my eyes open. They're watering so bad and stinging so painfully. All right, guys. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know if you can see my eyes. It really burns. It's bad. All right, so what happened last night? Well, first off, we did not do our research on the area we were supposed to be in, which is the first thing you should do, especially in tropical waters, before you go somewhere. So the reason we went at night during this trip, and I'm going to explain the whole situation that happened last night, but the reason we went at night during this trip is because that was pretty much the only time we had to go down and look for fossils. If you guys don't know, I work on a ministry team, so I'm not on these trips for making videos. I'm on these trips to serve in the ministry, but in our free time, we go out and we film stuff, go and look for stuff, look for reptiles, look for fossils. While we were out there last night, we didn't do any research to see if there was red tide, which was our first mistake, knowing the season that we should have known. But in our defense, we are from Texas. We did not know what red tide was. We know what it is, but we've never experienced it. So when we got out, the signs that we were seeing didn't even correlate in our mind that it was red tide. Besides that, we got out of the van and we'll back up a bit. Our first red flag should have been the fact that the actual park for the area was closed. Its parking lot was shut, which it was supposed to be open until 10 p.m. And we didn't see any red flags with that, which we should have. It was only 8 p.m. So we drive just around, about 50 feet away was another outside of the parking lot. So we park there. As soon as we step out of the van, we start feeling burning in our lungs. And when this happened, our minds went towards, there was just a tropical storm, it's hot and humid, and the air is foggy, which it was. We're just breathing in salty humidity. And I know that sounds funny, but that's what it felt like. It felt like when you were breathing in salty water. And so we just brushed it off. It's just salty water. And then from there, we walk up to the deck, which went right over like a sand dune right into the water. And on the edge of it was a dead pufferfish. Sign number 2 that we didn't even recognize, dead pufferfish, not a good sign. And then I look at the water, and again, it's pitch black out. You guys can see in the footage, it's pitch black out. And I shine my flashlight at the water, and I legit had the thought in my head, the foam doesn't look right. It might be red tide. But I have never experienced red tide, so I didn't know what the symptoms were, so I ignored it. But the foam was yellow, it wasn't white. It's like murky yellowish brown. So ignored that sign. Then we get down on the beach, and we're looking for fossils. And we start seeing dead stuff everywhere. You guys saw in the footage, dead crabs, dead fish. There was washed up turtle eggs, all sorts of stuff. And it's all rotten, decomposing. Some of the stuff is brand new, fresh. Some of the stuff has been there for days. And we were genuinely like, oh, it was just a tropical storm. It blew the stuff up on the shore and it's just died because of the tropical storm, even though it was a very small storm. Didn't even correlate. The next sign that we ignored was the fact that the water was murky. Now where we were, just outside of, or just south of Venice, the water should have been crystal clear. And it was murky, like you couldn't even see through 2 inches of it. Ignored another sign. And then our eyes start burning. My brother and Uncle Charlie, their eyes weren't burning nearly as bad as mine, but mine were getting really, really irritated. And it just so happened at the same time, I got some salt in my left eye, so I rubbed my left eye, and then it spread to both of my eyes because I had the red tide on my hands. And that was torture. It actually got to the point to where I went to the van. Zach and Charlie wanted to keep looking for a minute, but I went to the van, I booked it over there. At one point, I just had to stand and hold the deck with my eyes closed because I could not see. And apparently it affects me a lot more than other people. That's good to know. So I went to the van, sat in the van probably for about 30 minutes, including the drive to the local gas station. And my eyes were shut. I was bawling my eyes out, not like sobbing, but while my eyes were shut, tears were just pouring out of them. And by the time we got to Wawa, I just got to the point to where I could open my eyes. And so I go in, and it's 11 o'clock at night at this point. I'm wet from the ocean. My eyes are bloodshot. Not a good combination, especially with how late it was. I go in, I buy eye drops, I buy tissues, and I buy a bunch of snacks. And that doesn't look right, especially with how late it was. And so I go up, and as soon as I set my food down on the counter, I look at the clerk and I say, "No, I'm not high." And he started laughing, and I told him the situation, and he looks at me and he goes, "When you stepped out of the van and there was a sharp piercing pain in the back of your throat, that didn't cue you in?" And my only response was, "We're from Texas, we don't have red tide," at least where we are. Our closest beach is Galveston, and they don't get red tide. So yeah, it was a big drama experience that didn't need to happen last night. There was plenty of other places we could have went. Make sure you guys do your research before going out in any area that you have never been to before. A quick Google search would have showed us that there was red tide in the area and that we didn't want to go there. But we didn't do that Google search. We just assumed it would be great. On top of that, it was high tide, and you can't find fossils there at high tide. They're all exposed during low tide. So bunch of combination. We could have just went to a different creek and found some fossils and just did some hand sifting that way, and it would have been a lot better than going to the ocean and feeling like I'm dying from stinking red tide. But yeah, big drama. Hopefully that didn't irritate you guys too much because the video was shorter, but we didn't expect all that to happen. And I told Zach, my brother, well, this is our official Gone Wrong video, so hopefully we don't get much more like this in the future because we normally try to be pretty careful. But yeah, that's it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed watching me suffer for my naiveness to what the red tide symptoms were. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to go down below, hit that subscribe button, like this video, tell your friends about our dumb mistakes, share this video around, and I'll see you guys on the next adventure.